Kunal, Lucy, it's great to see you both again. And here we are. Thank you for this movie. And I love it. There's a line in the movie that I absolutely love. And it says, and I can't quote it, but I'll paraphrase. It's something about, and I believe, Lucy, you had this line when you walk into the bookstore. Don't you just love the smell of a bookstore? And I'm not going to say the name because they're not paying us to, but it's 50% off in their name, the National Bookstore. And I love going there because when you walk in, you get that rush. And when you did that line in this film, I was like, I get it. I'm actually reading the Andy Griffith biography right now that I found in that store. So I do a couple of pages a night. Let's talk about the heart of this for a minute. Kunal, what do you love about this particular story?
Well, that it represents an opportunity to have a second chance at life and a second chance at love, and that the purity of someone's soul can save even the darkest of times. And of course, the second part of that would be the power of books. Someone leaves a baby in a bookstore because they believe that people around books are good people with integrity and education, and that the baby will stand a good chance at someone there as opposed to the foster care system.
That's awesome. Thanks, Lucy. Same question for you, because, we always ask, what do you hope people take away with it or something like that? But as I'm watching this, I was curious to know what impact it had on you. You all that are actually, playing these roles.
Yeah, I mean, we're just in a time, especially in the world of movies and in my industry, it's like bigger is better, and there's not much like character development, and it's not really about the connections between the actors. And this script was exactly that. There wasn't smoke and mirrors. It was truly about these relationships, and like Kunal said, about life and hope after grief and loss. We can all relate to that. And I read the script and I was just completely moved, and I don't get that moved by a lot of what I read these days. And then, there's just something really almost nostalgic about the film, because what we're lacking these days is like human connection and things like bookstores. Like, we don't connect with people as much as we used to, and people don't go to bookstores or read books, and it's all about technology. And I think that hopefully our movie captured, like, it's simple emotions too, right? And we just like lose sight of them. And I think it's not a simple movie, but it's truly about these characters and what they're going through. And it's hopeful. I hope people watch it and find hope.
That's amazing, because honestly, it took me back, and why I love to go to the
phone. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You're good. No, but it took me back to going to the bookstores and sitting there sometimes and reading a couple of pages. Do I like this book? Do I actually want to buy it? And I always go look. And by the way, I'm not old, but I like to look at the cheap CDs too. I go through the jazz section. Wow. I'm like, hey, dude, it's fun. Kunal,
you're right.
Dude, it's fun because I found like the best of Dave Brubeck, and I'm like, and that's what this movie made me feel. That warmth that you described. All right, Kunal, I think you're going to be great for this question. Why is this a perfect date night movie?
Oh, well, that's a great question. I mean, it's a date night movie because it's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel romantic. It's going to make you want to hold your partner's hand. And if you're having a tough time with your partner, I think you will find comfort in each other, feeling sad for these characters or feeling love for these characters. And any movie that invokes real emotion is a great date night movie, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Lucy, I want to get your thoughts on that real quick.
Well, like Harry Styles said, the movie feels like a movie. I've wanted to use that all day. That's how he acted. I wanted to use that all day. No, I think that, there's a lot of morals to the story, but my character is the light after loss for AJ's character. She is the new love that he never would have met without the loss of his wife. And it's just a great example of how every situation is a puzzle piece to your life, right? And I think that, so it's a great date night movie because it's a really complicated, layered love story. Ultimately,
it is a reunion. David, it's great to see you. And of course, Christina, you and I got to spend some time at Disney World once. So that was fun.
We were just talking about that, actually.
That was a great trip. We had so much fun.
Really fun. Yeah.
I felt so important when they would walk us like through the guest areas. And, we had all the Disney security and it was, anyway, enough about
I had
that.
never been there. I was wide-eyed, like trying to take it all in.
David, it was for Toy Story.
Fun.
Yeah, it was great. Hey, man, good to see you again. Last time we talked, you were a police officer. You're a cop again. You're perfect for it. So, but as I'm watching you in this, I'm like, this movie is great. And I'm going to break it down for you in a second. But now, is the mustache required when you play a police officer? Is it in your contract? Because the mustache, I think, is what makes you a cop.
Audience wouldn't know otherwise. Yeah.
It's a bit of a stereotype, but if you look, it's actually a stereotype for a reason. I mean, a lot of cops have mustaches, and this was an opportunity to grow a real thick one. He wasn't traditional. I love playing cops. I'm just I love when I'm not in the back of the vehicle.
Right. Exactly. No, it's perfect. All right, Christina. Here's what I described this movie as. Mom and I watched it together, my mother and I, and she loved it. I loved it. I said, heartwarming. I said, Mom, wasn't that heartwarming? And I actually wrote this down. I go, it's funny. And it's also a story about loss, redemption, and love. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to describe it. I'm glad you brought up the humor, because I think it's, it is a movie where there's a lot of loss and people, heartbreak, but there is a sense of humor and lightness that are woven throughout it.
David, what's going on in Alice Island? This is where the movie takes place. Everybody knows everybody's business, the relationships. I think it looks like a great place to visit. I don't know if I could live there. What is the deal with this community?
Yeah, it's definitely a small town on an island. So you get to know everyone and everyone's business, and everyone's sort of experienced drama. But it's a beautiful place. We shot it in Cape Cod, and it just has this New England, this mood to it. That's really, I don't know. I fell in love with it.
It's beautiful.
It snuggles you
Go ahead.
I said it just feels sort of snuggly, that there's something very warm and inviting about it.
And that's why I mentioned that, actually, because even though everybody's in everybody's business, and there's a lot of business going on in this film, and no spoilers today for me. I see Christina nodding her head. Yes. But that's kind of a character to me, because the fact that it is a tight-knit group kind of adds, I think, the warmth to it. All right. Everybody's going to get this question. Christina, I'll start with you. It does center around a bookstore. There's a line in the film about, that smell that you get when you walk into a bookstore. I love bookstores. I love to read. Biographies is my thing. Are you a big reader, Christina?
I am, when I get the time. I think so often for work, we're reading through scripts, and it's about sort of assessing the project rather than just sort of escaping into something. In fact, it's like, it can be stressful reading, because you're like, where would it shoot? How many months am I going to be away? Can I contribute to the, like, you're thinking of it in such a different way than just being able to like open a wonderful novel and just hide away for a little bit. So when I get that time, it's very, very treasured.
David, are you a big reader?
I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks recently. It's helped a lot. I mean, between reading scripts and then reading the sort of books to help sort of find your character, and then having the luxury of being able to read a book, and then kids' books. I go through a lot of kids' books.
It's funny. I'm actually reading a biography right now of Andy Griffith, and it's fascinating. Who's a cop, by the way, as we all know. Well, he plays one on TV, but it's just fascinating. Anyway, listen, great to see you both again. Thank you for this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Great to see you both again. You both are just amazing. I'm a huge fan of both of y'all, and thanks again. I really appreciate your time today.
Nice to see you.
All right, you too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.